We're going to touch on a subject that's kind of touchy. Transgender playing in women's sports. We're talking about men and women's sports. We saw it in the Olympics, and they were like, no, he wasn't a guy. Now the medical records found out that he was a guy. But check this out, though.
San Jose State University women's volleyball team is under scrutiny over a transgender player, and the controversy now deepening as several opposing teams are forfeiting matches in protest. And the associate head coach says she's been suspended for voicing her concerns about having a biological male on the roster.
What is going on? Are you kidding me? Suspending the coach for saying, oh, this is California, right? That's all I got to say.
Brooke Slusser, a San Jose State University volleyball player, joining us now, followed by Riley Gaines, host of the Outkicks Gaines for Girls. Thank you both for being here. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Brooke, I want to start with you. You have alleged that your school hid your transgender teammates' biological sex from you and the rest of your team over.
Well, is this male inside the locker room too?
The course of the last 2 years. And you've also said that some of their spikes traveled at 80 miles an hour during practice. And now we've since learned that the assistant coach was suspended for speaking up really for your concerns. What impact has that news had across the team?
I mean, I think you can imagine she was that one person that everyone felt like they could voice their opinion and truly speak how they felt with the whole situation and feel comforted. And them taking that away from us, everyone felt distraught. And especially finding out minutes before a game, it was just a horrible situation.
Mm-hmm. The assistant coach, or associate coach, I should say, Melissa Beatty-Smoose, she wrote a statement. I want to read it here. Safety is being taken from women. Fair play is being taken away from women. We need more and more people to do this, fight this fight, because women's sports as we know it right now will forever be changed.
You know, there are some laws that should be passed. I don't care. I mean, hate me, judge me, what you want, but a man should not be playing a women's sports unless they're playing co-ed tennis, co-ed volleyball, co-ed whatever. If it's not co-ed, then a trans person should not be playing in that women's sports. I'm sorry.
Riley, you know well, sort of the fallout after you speak up for these concerns. What do you think is happening now? Because she has also released a statement saying that she was instructed not to speak to the media.
Well, it's retaliation, Jackie. That's what this is. That's what the message that's being sent loud and clear is: do not oppose us. Do not even dare to question our motives, or else we will get rid of you. And that's exactly what Melissa has gone through. That's exactly what the San Jose State University team has gone through. And
San Jose University, you got it wrong. I'm sorry. You're going to watch. There's going to be a drop in tuition there. It's going to happen. People are waking up.
And so I want to commend these brave girls like Brooke, other teammates who have been willing to say this is unfair, it's unsafe, it's wrong. It's hard to do. A lot of people who maybe aren't involved, they think it's easy to take the stand that Brooke has taken. It is not. And again, I think we can see that based off of the intimidation factors, honestly, the emotional blackmail that their university, that their head coach, that the athletic director, that the president of the university, that the NCAA, that the Mountain West Conference has put on these girls. It's a burden that they should not have to bear. But here we have Brooke, a young girl standing up for herself and for many generations of women to come.
And Brooke, this is, continuing to sort of unfold. You've now had 7 forfeits across, I think it was 5 schools: Southern Utah, Boise State, Utah State, Wyoming, and Nevada. What real impact does all these schools forfeiting games have on the ability to compete? Coupled with, obviously, there are concerns that you've voiced about facing off against this player when you've got 80-mile-an-hour spikes. I mean, how do you feel about this?
I mean, it's sad that the school still chooses to prioritize one man's needs over an entire team and be willing to get rid of half of our season because of it. So it's amazing that other teams in the conference can stand up and just say, no, we're not doing this. And yet our school is still okay with having one person on our team that's causing all of these issues, and yet will not get rid of them.
I'm sorry. Something needs to be done about that. I mean, if a man transitions into a woman, then I mean, they're going to have to find a trans league. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want my daughter out there playing with someone who's doing some 80-mile spikes. I heard that there was a kid already having issues from being hit in the head from one of these balls. And oh my gosh, man, this is crazy. Like, is this really going on? Is it really going on in California? Like, they're not waking up saying that we're going to change the rules. You're having 5 teams forfeiting games because of this one individual player? Seriously?
Riley, I want to end with you because we've seen in the last week since the election results came in, some Democrats acknowledging that their party was far afield from where most people's concerns lie, specifically around the issue of transgender athletes and playing in women's sports. What is your message to people like Brooke trying to speak up now? Do you think that the tide is changing at all, and what advice do you have moving forward?
Absolutely. I believe that the tide is turning. I think that was made very obvious just last week. My message to everyone, regardless of any identity factor, is that this should not be a partisan issue. This should not be a political issue. This is a humanitarian issue. It's a moral issue. It's a civil rights issue, but it shouldn't be as partisan as it's become in the way that our elected officials are voting, in the way that the media represents this issue. Again, it was made very clear just last week that is not how the overwhelming majority of society feels about this. Your common sense, everyday American, they intuitively know that men and women are different, that men cannot become women, that men cannot get pregnant, that tampons and menstrual products do not belong in boys' bathrooms. Yet we had an entire political party who ran on this. I mean, that was their message to voters. And again, we saw how that turned out. So I'm hoping that the tide turns. Okay. I'm hoping that President Trump takes decisive action on day one and bans this altogether.
Okay. Riley Gaines,
so
Brooks.
Here's my problem with this. And some people are going to come back and say, well, there are women playing football. There are women kickers. I don't know if there's any women playing baseball right now. I think once they allowed a woman to come inside of a football arena, because it starts at the high school level. I remember there was this kicker. She was a kicker for some team and she was doing well. And obviously they don't have football for women. I'm sure there's flag footballs all around Texas and all that, but full pads, they did try to do some kind of vanity type game for the girls. They were wearing skimpy bikinis and that was just for the perverts. I'm sorry. Why would they even do that? Anyhow, but then you have an issue now where you're letting trans into mainstream girls, female dominated sports. And it's one of those that, where does it end? Like, do you just take all the transgenders and say, hey, this is your league and play? Do you not allow women kickers in football? You know what I mean? Because this is going to cause, no one's talking about that. This is going to cause an issue. But as far as safety, I think there's something needs to be heard about that. These girls are, and I can tell the mamas and daddies are like, you're not playing. Can you imagine the best player of your volleyball team is getting dominated from a transgender, a guy who has transitioned to a female. To a female. And he's killing them. He's wiping them off the floor. Pow. Yeah, that's dangerous. What are your thoughts on this, friends? What do you think? Should this be allowed? Should they start creating new bathrooms? I mean, I would hate for them to have to put porta potties up for these things. I mean, he's still human, you know what I mean? But should they do this? What's your thoughts? Let me know. The fact of the matter here is, I don't think it's fair right now. They need to figure something out, because if a male decides he wants to become a female and play in those sports and dominate, something's got to give, because it ain't right. These poor girls have been working hard all their lives to achieve what they've been achieving, and now they got to go against a man. I don't know. Yeah.